Hello and welcome to Aspire with Hafsat Sahabi Denge. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing business structuring. How do you choose the right structure for your business? In Nigeria, the most common types of business structure is the business name BN and the limited liability LTD. And the terms business and company are often interchangeably used. I always get calls from people making reference to my company when indeed they operate a business name. So it is very key for business owners to understand the two concepts. A business name can either be a sole proprietorship or a partnership. A sole proprietorship is simply a business that is owned and managed by one individual. Example, a small retail shop owned by one person. While a partnership is usually a business owned by two or more people who share profit, losses, and share the management responsibilities in that business. An example of business structures that usually operate a partnership are a law firm where several lawyers share ownership and responsibilities. A limited liability, on the other hand, is a private company where the liability of its members is limited to their shares. So in Nigeria, a name that ends with the word LTD is usually a limited liability company. It is in fact compulsory for a limited liability company to end with the word LTD. So an example of a limited liability company could be a startup registered as a limited to protect the personal assets of its founders. We also have the public limited liability company, which is the PLC. It must end with the word PLC. And it's simply a company whose shares is publicly traded on the stock exchange. They offer shares to the public. So an example of a PLC in Nigeria is the Dangote Cement PLC, which is a major publicly traded company in Nigeria. So what are the differences between a business name and a company? The differences can be seen in legal structure, the liability, and the regulatory requirements which would go through together. So on the issue of the legal structuring, a business name is simpler and less formal structure, often used by sole proprietors or small partnerships. It does not create a separate legal entity apart from the owners. Unlike limited liability, a limited liability creates a separate legal entity distinct from its owners. And who are the owners of a company? A lot of people think the owners of a company are the directors. The owners of the company are the shareholders of that company. So a company can enter into contract, it can sue and be sued in its own corporate name. In terms of liability, a business name owner is personally liable for debts and obligations of the business. This means that personal assets can be used to settle debts. Unlike the limited liability, where shareholders have limited liability, meaning that they are only responsible for the company's debt up to the amount they invested in the company. So their personal assets are generally protected from any liabilities. In terms of regulatory requirements, a business name is simpler and less expensive with fewer ongoing compliance requirements. It involves registering, with the CAC, of course, and registering for TIN. So limited liability company also, unlike business name, requires a more complex and costlier registration process with the CAC, and it must comply with more stringent regulatory and reporting requirements, especially those businesses that are also regulated by other agencies apart from the CAC. In summary, a business name is suited for smaller, low-risk business due to its simplicity and lower cost, while a limited liability company offers more protection, credibility, making it suitable for larger or higher risk ventures. Join the conversation. Have you recently chosen a business structure for your venture? What challenges did you face? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep aspiring. I am Hafsat Sahabi Denge, and this is your journey to success.